But man, without further ado, I've been dying to get to this one. Let's get
Yeah,
to it. Fucking Dan Nurmagomedov. I mean Dan Hooker.
Dan the
Oh my
Hangman.
God, Dan the wrestler.
Dude,
Fucking
I was
what the
blown
fuck did we
away.
watch last night? That
Well,
was
I bet
crazy. Well,
I would imagine Haqparast was also blown away by the fact he was getting grappled by a city kickboxer.
well, and just like yeah, like I mean, Hooker is known for being a devastating striker, and like he was the offensive grappler. We'll get to it, but god damn it, I just had yeah, Dan Nurmagomedov last night, man. We need to get him one of them hats. But yeah, Dan Hooker, minus 155 favorite, the eighth ranked lightweight fighting Nasrat Haqparast, plus 130 underdog, but technically unranked. But that just kind of shows you, you know, rankings ain't the end all be all because I mean to say unranked versus number eight, you would be like, oh, one guy doesn't even necessarily like deserve to be in the ring. But I don't think anybody was saying this was a mismatch. Like everybody agreed this was going to be a great fight. Like and like Haqparast like belonged in there with Dan Hooker. I don't think anybody was really arguing that this was like
I,
a canned fight.
I feel like Vegas threw a lot of respect on it, man. To only have Hooker at minus 155 and to have
That's what I'm
Haqparast at
saying.
plus 130, I mean, that's close to pick'em style odds. And
That's
I
really close.
honestly, coming into this fight, I was rolling with Dan Hooker. I thought he was just going to dominate, which, not to give anything away, he looked great. But I didn't think
Yeah,
he was going to look great in this fashion. I thought he would look like old school Dan Hooker.
yeah.
He's a new version of himself.
Yes, and you love to see it, right? Like
Yeah,
he's filling holes, rounding out, getting better.
putting
Like
tools in the toolbox, man. Like, what could be better?
yes, yes, exactly. Because he has that kickboxing in his back pocket, right? Knows it like the back of his hand. He can do it in his sleep. So adding this, like an offensive grappling Dan Hooker, is fucking gnarly. And I mean, coming off two losses, like one of the best fights I've ever watched against Poirier. Literally, that's a fight I would
Dude,
just throw on just to watch for fun, like just action movie style, just like raw, unreal. Up there with Connor and Nate, like literally just one of the all-time fun fights to watch. Love that fight. And then yeah, the knockout to Chandler wasn't great, but also I think Chandler's world class. So I mean, just two. I mean, to people that want to like be down on Dan Hooker, and now he's down in the rankings around eight or whatever. So fighting, always fighting an unranked guy in the prelims. Yeah, be down on him all you want. I didn't. Never lost a drop of respect for Dan Hooker or really steam. You know, he fought some tough guys, had some great fights, some tough L's, and I mean, obviously, right back at it for him. He didn't let it affect his confidence or anything. Hooker just showed us a side of himself that he, yeah, I don't think any of us have ever seen before, and it's really exciting, man. It's really exciting because I think this is what he needed, right? He's coming off some L's. We can justify him or say they're good L's all we want, but coming off back-to-back L's and maybe career kind of coming at a crossroads kind of point. What are you? Are you still ascending? Are you a gatekeeper? What's the deal here? I think he just got the car back, right, driving in the right direction, head like going upwards.
yeah, man, absolutely. I think sometimes when you take time off and you mature a skill set and essentially come back and rebrand yourself inside the octagon, it does nothing but help you as far as promotional, marketing, and overall. I mean, of course, he's a better fighter when he's able to add those tools. But like, for instance, the main headline fight of this card is a guy that took a year off, learned how to box way better, came back, rebranded himself, and remarketed himself as the next challenger up. Ortega is who I'm talking about, but
Yeah,
which
no,
of course
that's
you
cool
know.
how you did that. Yeah, yeah.
But like that's how I kind of looked at Dan Hooker in this fight. Is like,
Wow.
dude, you like if you change your skill set and you develop more skills, he was already a top 10 guy. I think that was solidified. At least in my mind, it is at 55. I think he's going to always be a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
But if he does that, good chance he can get top 5.
Oh yeah. Right back. I think he's right back in the mix. I mean, the Hooker we saw last night is a good matchup for damn near about anybody. You know, that division. You know, there's a ton of killers in there, and I think he's one of them. I think he's one of those guys.
Right.
I think some fans and some people were trying to like act like he was on the outside looking in. You know, the Chris Brown. Oh, you hating on the club? You can't even get in. I think.
Facts.
But I think Hooker is in the doors. I think he is in the club of badass lightweights at the top. I really do. Like
He,
maybe
he, he
you
got
can
past that
debate.
velvet rope.
Yeah, yeah, you can debate where he falls in that pecking order, but I think he's in the mix. He's on the list. But yeah, look great. Now, which round did the judge give a 10-8 to? Because
So
I gave it all 10-9s as well as two other judges did, but I'm not
as
mad
did
at
I.
any 10-8s because round 2 or 3 could have been a 10-8. Honestly, they were dominant.
So I'm glad you asked because I heard that score as well, and I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely going to check that tomorrow and see who it was." First of all, because there's a couple judges I cannot stand them being judges because they make egregious mistakes week in and week out, and I'm like, "How is this possible?" But I scored at 30-27 as well as you. So they scored round 3. The one judge scored round 3 at 10-8 for
Yeah,
Dan
I
Hooker,
thought so.
which I can honestly, I'm not mad at that.
I'm
I don't
not
really
mad
have a
at that
problem
either.
with it. Like there were a lot of rounds last night that were on the precipice of 10-8s in some of these decisions that ended up
Yeah.
not having the 10-8. But and we'll get to that in the final fight as well. But can you guess the judge that scored a 10-8 and had the 30-26?
Is it Mike Bill? Is that
Oh,
his name?
Mike Bell actually scored at 30-27. He was one of the three on
Okay.
this card though. But Adelaide Bird, that crazy woman that
Yeah.
the Canelo judge that just completely screwed Triple G. That girl, like Vegas, has got to not have her judge fights of any discipline.
The commission has people by the balls. There's something sketchy going on there. There just has to be.